Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Empowering Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm Glenn Harper.
Julie Smith.
What's going on, Julie?
It's just another coffee day. We're just, our guest skipped her workout and now I'm feeling really guilty over here.
Well, it's a cool, crisp fall day, but it's really summer, but it's still fall, so the coffee's tasting good today.
Yeah.
But yes, I hate seeing people miss a workout. But it's good to see you back again here with us, Kelly. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, thank you. I feel like it's been a while, and I know big things have probably happened for all of us since the last time I was on.
Well, tell us about your big thing.
Well, my biggest thing is that I became a #1 best-selling author on Amazon and wrote my book. It had been in me for a while, and finally actually did it. And in one category, y'all, I ended up #2 under Mel Robbins.
Wow.
I
Ooh.
thought that was pretty
That's
exciting
real good.
because
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can beat Mel Robbins right now at this stage.
No, you speak that into
But
existence.
coming into #2, I was really happy about. I was really happy with that. The book I wrote is called Mindset Mastery: 25 Principles to Outsmart Burnout and Redefine Success. And it is truly like a coaching book. Like, I take what I talk with all my clients about and give them here's how to take action, here's mindset shifts you need, and you just read it in little bite size. So I'm so happy with it. And then the rest of the series is coming
Hold on
out.
one second.
Hold on,
Yes.
Kelly. It seems we're having a,
Technical. What's that, Dan?
what'd you say?
Mike's not printing.
My mic's not printing.
What's
I want to be
printing mean?
I want to be printing.
Recording?
I want to be printing. How about now?
I don't think it's
How about
you speaking.
Bueller?
I think it's
I'm not doing zeros and ones.
can we just record the podcast without Glenn's voice? I'm just
It probably would be better.
Hey
Hmm.
now, hey now.
Well, we did a mic check. We do all those things before, but I guess we don't check the recording.
Want me to put in a different plug?
Give me a check. Glenn.
Check. Bueller? Anyone? Back on?
Do you have to start from the beginning?
Yeah, I just start from the beginning.
Want to do a little do-over? Yeah. All right.
You record for a sec.
Test.
Testing.
Test.
We good?
Looks like we're good now.
Yes.
You are good to start from the top.
Start from the top.
Oh, here we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Empowering Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm Glenn Harper.
Julie Smith.
What's going on, Ju?
This is take 2 for us.
Take 2. Well, sometimes technical difficulties happen.
Yeah, well, it'll be exciting.
Well, we have a real pleasant surprise. We're bringing back one of our probably first 25 guests. One of the first
I
ones,
should
way back
have looked
when.
that up now that we're well over
greater
100.
It's greater than 2 years because when I pulled up the email to find my notes, it didn't show up, and I got a 2-year case archive on it. So I knew it's been at least 2 years. So Kelly, welcome back. How you been?
Great. Thank you. It is so great to be back. I so enjoy your show, you're the energy you two bring, and I appreciate being asked back again.
Must have meant you had some good knowledge for us.
Yes, yes. I have had some exciting things happen too that I'm ready to share.
Well, share. What's the big exciting thing that's happened?
So the big exciting thing that happened in my business is that I became I was an author before in anthologies, but now I have my very own book, and it was an Amazon bestseller. It's called Mindset Mastery: 25 Principles to Outsmart Burnout and Redefine Success.
How great is that?
Oh, it's so wonderful. And when I decided to write a book, I wanted to do it for my clients or people that like wanted a coach but maybe couldn't have a coach. And so it's very there's 25 principles, and each principle, here's the, theory behind it. Here's your take action. Here's your mindset shifts. And then on every page, I even have a keep it real. I am very direct and to the point, and it's like one sentence, bam. And so it's so easy to read and digest. And I have 3 more coming out. So
3 more
that'll be a
books?
series. Yes, it'll be a series.
Well,
So tell us what's after burnout.
Yeah, so the first one's mindset mastery. The next one is focus mastery, and really talking about how to focus yourself so that you can be sustainable, right? Because that's the biggest problem is burnout. The next one is well-being, and that gets into all the different areas of well-being. And then the last one is connection, because we have to build relationships, we have to have trust, we have to be able to communicate. And so that's in the fourth book.
Well, here's a crazy question. So when you're doing a book, from what I understand, it's in a pretty intense endeavor. Were you able to use your principles to not get burnout while you're doing that thing? Because
And focus.
and focus, because I know it's really hard, right? You got to
That's
just
a great
do
question.
it.
So it's really interesting. I went away on a like a little workshop with someone who is a writer. She's a Harlequin. She's written like 72 Harlequin books or something. Anyway, she was asking what type of writer you are. I am the type of writer, Glenn and Julie, that goes away. I need to go away so I can just crank it out, be in the zone and get it done. Then I can come back to, my home in real life and do the editing and all the little things that go on, but like just to get it out. Whereas some people write like a little bit every day, like every day they have, that is not me. So I went away and
For a month or a year or 2 years.
And wait, where did you go? The beach, the mountains? Where did you go?
the story is so not exciting, y'all.
Oh, it's
But
far, far away.
I did end up looking at a beach, and it was in Mississippi because my husband had to work, but he was working, and so I knew he'd be gone all day long. Our hotel was right in front of the beach. I opened the blinds, looked out. The weather, it was not beach weather, but it was still, the water was right there, and that's where I did most of it.
Did you feel like when you had to just jump right in like that, you have like writer's block? Like, here I am, the setting's perfect. I'm by myself. I'm ready to go.
No, because, and I'll tell you why. Because well, this might have been in take one when I said I had, like, this had been in me for a while, stewing around, which is what happens most of the time for me. Like, it's all in here, and then it's just a matter of now I need to sit down and make it come out. I had done quite a lot of brainstorming, putting ideas down on paper. Canva has a really cool, you can use like sticky notes in Canva and like move stuff around. So I did a lot of prep work.
How about that? So it was ready to come out. Ready?
It was ready to come out.
Like
Yeah.
the Yellowstone Cauldron. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So did you write all of them in one away trip or okay?
No, but I did get a lot. I mean, if you think about it, it's 25 principles, right? And the next one is 25 tips. And these are things that when I coach on, we talk about it all the time. It was literally just going, what are the things that I repeat over and over and over and over that I'm telling my clients? And let's get that in a book. And then for those people that can do it on their own, here it is. You know what I mean? Some people need a little bit more accountability and support, and that's great also.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine sitting down and I'm amazed.
Well, if it's all up there rattling around.
I know, but
Right?
maybe I just need to go to Mississippi and look at the ocean and
I
then
mean,
come out.
there might be other places to go, but that's just where we ended up.
You had the view without the weather, which is nice. You weren't tempted to go out there.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
So what's the main, as we talk with entrepreneurs all the time, it's just such a hard thing to do because you're just hit at all times. You're always on, you're never off.
Yep.
You got to be this person. You got to take all the pressure, the stresses and everything. How do you coach somebody to just say, hey, look, you need a break. You got to structure your life better. How do you make your life easier? And when I say easy,
how do you avoid burnout essentially?
Yeah. So I think what it has taken me a while to come to. The first time I was on the show, I really wasn't coaching in this capacity. Like, I changed my business name, like I did all kinds of things based on what I had gone through. And I think one of the biggest realizations for me was understanding the difference between a high achiever and a peak performer. And high achievers burn themselemselves out. It's constant urgency. It's, decision fatigue all the time. It's, you always feel like you're falling behind. And there's kind of this
I feel like you just described me.
I'm not pointing any fingers, but like
I was like, wow, how did you know?
My left.
And peak performers, they just do things differently and they can literally sustain it. So it's not the crash and burn, and then you're like, oh, I just need a weekend to, do nothing. You literally can sustain what you're doing for a long time. And peak performers lead from energy, not from effort. And that's a difference. They choose alignment like over the approval and saying yes and people pleasing and doing all the things. And sometimes it's, we're saying yes to ourselves when we need to say no to some things. And then also they refine like productivity and get rid of the perfectionism.
So if someone like me is listening and saying, "Oh my gosh, well, I think I fall over here,
Mhm.
but I hear you, and how do I bridge the gap to get over here?"
Yeah. So a lot of that is mindset because there's a fear around it. Well, like, well, what if I stop being like this? Like, what will happen? Right? Like the whole
Yeah,
world.
what happens if
You
I'm
get
not productive?
you got to get a lobotomy.
But
Yeah.
here's what I say. So my whole when I speak when I coach my book series is called Succeed with Ease. And I think that one of the biggest things we have to get in our mind is that ease is not the opposite of success. It's the foundation. And when we
That's
can move,
powerful.
We
Yeah.
had a
yeah,
mic drop moment. We would do that right now.
Say that again. Ease is the what?
ease isn't the opposite of success. It's the foundation.
Gotcha.
And let me tell you, my husband and I were just in London, another work trip for him that I tagged along with. And let me tell you what happened. Okay, so we were not staying in London; we're staying in Cambridge. We had to take a train into London. He only had to work 5 hours while we were there the whole week. That's done. We get now our time. So we take a train. Well, that morning, the train was jam packed, standing room only, like this. Okay, and it's an hour train ride. So
Oh,
right then, our plan was to have 2 lovely days in London. We were spreading everything out. It was going to be delightful. On that train ride of being like this for an hour, I was like, oh, we may not do this again tomorrow. Like this might be a one and done. So immediately I flipped into high achiever mode of we're going to get everything done today. We probably walked 25,000 steps. We were exhausted. Yes, we saw it all, but we didn't enjoy it all because we were like, what's next? So we get back on the train. We did get to sit down on the way home, thank goodness. But we got back to Cambridge and then we had another 15-minute walk. And I was like, oh, yee. So we get back to the hotel room and I'm like, do we really want to do this again tomorrow? Now, y'all, this is how we go through life often.
hmm
This is, you know what I mean? This is it. It's the expectation. Blah, 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 blah. So we're like, okay, do we really want to do this tomorrow? And I'm like, well, we're only in London once, but we have to do it differently. We picked 3 things to do, and that was all. And we had the most relaxing, lovely sight saw. We went into Westminster Abbey, took in all the things. We were probably in there for 2 hours, went and had a lunch that was out in the middle of their theater district, sat in the middle of the street, people watched, just enjoyed it. Like truly the London experience. And that was eye-opening to me. I was like, this is the difference between high achiever and peak performer right here in
Two
my
opposites.
vacation.
Two
In my
total opposites.
vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have definitely had the FOMO, like, oh, well, we could have done more. But I get it. I get it. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it does like that's the whole thing of the mindset that it takes more mindset than it does tips and tricks, if that makes sense.
Did you and again, this is would be the kicker. So when you completed day one, you were
Mm-hmm.
like, this was a horrible experience. When you
Mm-hmm.
and you did it all. Then the
Mm-hmm.
complete day two, and you only did a couple things, you're like, this was awesome.
But did you pick your top three from day one, or were they three new things?
So it was really more in depth. We didn't make it to the theater district the first time. Okay. We did like fly by Westminster Abbey. Here's pictures from the outside because I wanted to make sure we got everything in. Well, then the next time we truly went inside, we enjoyed it. We took our time with everything. And so one thing was new. The other two were not like we did them on a surface level. just to say we did them. You know what I mean? But then the next day we went in and really did them and enjoyed them.
So that's on a vacation. So how do we put that into perspective, like in real life? You got
Yeah.
work and you got your
Mhm.
life, which is, home and family time.
Yeah.
How do you balance the two? Is the book discuss both of those, or is it just a technique to do each one?
Well, I think when we're talking about mindset for this one, it's for your mindset, which is, but your mind goes with you everywhere. So it's definitely both work and life. And and what was your question? How do you really do that for both in let's say work and life? So
Right.
I think there has to be something that we look at the harmony. And are we living in harmony? Are we living in alignment? And if there is this overwhelm, if there is this exhaustion, if there is this like I have a when I do my speaking presentations, I show the efficiency bell curve, and there's a stretch, which is green. That's where we want to be, stretch. There's strain and there's burnout. Okay. And we are often living in the strain because we are afraid, FOMO. We're afraid of, I'm not going to get it all done. We're afraid, all the things, instead of thinking we have this whole lifetime to do everything. What really has to get done today? What can I delegate? What isn't important right now? And I think a lot of times we feel like everything is important and urgent and all at once. And it really takes some strategic thinking in life and work to make it happen so you're not in burnout. Because if you go, you will end up in burnout. You just will. Your body tells you.
What age? I'm curious.
84.
Any age. And I'll tell you, I think that what happens is that our body starts giving us signals and we ignore them because we're like, oh, I don't have time to deal with that. I'm not dealing with that. And it's really our body telling us, but it's going back and getting in tune with yourself and truly being in alignment. And I say no to more things and just miss out, and it's okay.
So
It's
how do you deal with those, you know, missed opportunities? Saying no.
Well, maybe there's a better opportunity of what I said yes to. Does that make sense? So I said no to this to choose to be at home, do something with my family, take more time to work on something in my business. So I'm out and about running around everywhere, whatever that is. Maybe the better opportunity is there and not what I'm missing out on.
So how do you get to that mindset?
Got to get the book.
So most, I'll tell you honestly, and I have done this myself, most of my clients start with a 1 day breakthrough because we have to go in and we literally have to rewire some synapses that you've been carrying or people have been carrying around that make them this way. And it's really going in and getting better alignment and values. We do a lot of values work also around it because sometimes our initial values of what we think they are, really what we want is something different. And then they clash, which then leaves us overwhelmed, overworked, and running around with our heads cut off.
Could you elaborate when you say alignment? What is that aligning what to what?
To me, it's mind, body, spirit. Is it all aligned? Are you doing the purposeful work that you're meant to do without feeling the overwork, the pressure that I have to do more, like, all the fear of missing out on everything? Or are you aligned and your mind, body, and spirit is truly okay with what you're doing right now, knowing that there's a lot of time that people would rather, you can tell when people show up in a burned out or frustrated, their energy, right? They're like exhausted and they're like, oh, I'm here. Right? And that energy just, whereas when you slow down and you let go of some things and you realize your true priorities, you show up in a higher vibration that helps the entire world because we know it's a ripple effect. So I think it's that, and that's hard to define and put, you just feel it.
Right. Do you think that technology and access to instant expectations, so many choices, so many options, most people, again, may have the money and the means to do a lot of things. Do you think, is that something that's a new phenomenon or has that always been there? Like, I think we're still trying to catch up to the fact that you can talk to anybody on the planet anytime. And is that expectation I always have to be on 24/7, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. And in my I have a work-life balance talk that I did, and this was for travel agents. And you know what? They are on call all the time because if they have someone like when I was in London, I'm 7 hours ahead, 6 hour, whatever. So they are always on. And I said, what has happened is that when Walmart went 24/7, McDonald's 24/7, whatever, we just feel like we should also be on 24/7. When Amazon gets us something in 2 days, have you ever ordered something from a company that's like, it'll take a week and you're like, a week?
I can't wait.
Like,
Amazon's like 2 hours now.
sometimes it is. You're right. You're right. You're right. Amazon has caught up and now it's like same day, whatever. But I feel like we as people feel like we are caught up in that also, and that we need to respond to every single email like the minute it comes in and every text like right away, instead of us realizing we are humans and we can take a little bit longer. I'm going to respond, and I'm going to respond in the time where my calendar says email and it's blocked for that, not the minute it comes in.
So how does one start the process of the detoxing, the deprogramming, start from zero and forget everything you know? How does one go back to that? What's the first step one has to do?
Yeah. So I look at, that's great because I look at, we don't need to try to change 12 different habits, right? Like it's too much for us. So when I look at
But
my
wait a minute, the high achievers want to try to solve it all at once. We know this, right? So how do we deprogram that deprogramming?
one, we have to let them realize they are a high achiever and they want to be a peak performer instead. That's mindset shift one. Like, I know high achiever, it's gotten you well. You did well in school. You did all the things, like everything. People think you're amazing. And if you're on the verge of burnout, this way of life is not helping you. Like, it's time to go, I don't want to live this way anymore. I want to be sustainable. So that's number one, is just making the shift in the decision of I'm going to figure out how to do this and I might need help because it's so ingrained in me. But my framework, I have 4 pillars: mindset, focus, well being, and connection. And I
And
like
ironically, you have 4 books.
exactly one for each. And it's really looking at what's one mindset shift that I can make that will make a difference for me. And I can't tell you what that is for any, that's why there's 25 of them. Pick the one that works for you first and then go from there. But again, I will say it's recognizing, are you the high achiever that needs to become the peak performer so you can work and live sustainably? But looking at each area, what's one area? When I think of focus, I think of more energy. I think we're so into time management instead of energy management. It's not, do I have more space on my calendar to say yes to this? It's, do I have the energy to give my 100% to, okay, 80% to this? And think about it energy instead of time wise. That's a lot of focus. And then when it comes to well-being, start with the little things. Are you drinking enough water? Like, what can literally help you get through the day? Are you taking a lunch break? If you're fasting, figure that out. But are you eating lunch? Are you sustaining your body in the best way possible, especially as entrepreneurs? When we are not well, we can't sell. And we always have to remember that. That's a saying that I learned from one of my coaches, and I stuck with me. And then connection. How are your connections when you're burnt out and you are overwhelmed and overworked? Are you making the best connections possible? Probably not. And so thinking about, well, how can I do that? And as I said, the rest of my books will come out in the fall. Start with mindset because that's the biggest that's the biggest one.
So let me ask you this. So, when most people, again, we get to see entrepreneurs all day long.
Yeah.
We are, we live this. We know people that do this thing. The kicker is trying to navigate the the home, family, and
Mhm.
business. How do you know? How does one decide, well, who's the sacrificial lamb and who's not? How do you prioritize? Like, what is your best advice for somebody that trying to figure out, well, which one is more important? I mean, you can't do one without the other, but you can't do
Correct.
one without the other, but you really can't, because then you feel a different way and you really
Yeah.
should do the other one.
Yeah.
Like, how does it do that?
Yes. So to me, that goes back to values. What are your values? Where do they lie? And how heavy is each one? And two, it goes back to harmony. because when we're trying to do the balancing act, we're like a scale, a balance scale. And if you're at like, oh, I want to be 50% home and 50% work, but if I'm 49-51, I'm not balanced. Well, that doesn't work, right? So it's really looking at the harmony for you. How much time do I, for me personally, want to spend with my family, my kids, that I am really giving quality time and feel good about? And what is that looking like over at work? And I know for myself, it is an ebb and flow. When I am traveling to speak at a conference, well, then I'm gone, right? But then I know that I'm going to schedule time in my calendar to make sure that then I can be home and spend some time with my husband, quality time. I am a little bit luckier because right now my kids are grown, so I'm in a little bit of a different phase. Not better, because it just means I have more time that I could work. So I have to have a boundary. I have to be like, nope, I am done for today.
I was waiting for that B word to come out.
Yep, and I learned, I really learned and watched my husband, because my husband, he only works in the office, and that is it, because of his job. He just has to be in the office, and at his time, his ending time, he walks out and he's done. And then whatever he didn't get done, he will go back in and pick up the next day. Whereas when am I going into high achiever mode, going, I have to finish this now, right? And I'm going to stay up till midnight to get it done, when he would have cut off and he would have gone back in the next day and finished it.
I've got two questions on that specific thing. So the
Okay.
first thing is, it's business and family. Where's the me time? How does one
Mm,
allocate the me time is the first question.
yep.
And maybe you can
As
do
a
that
high
for,
achiever, that doesn't exist.
it has to exist.
I'm
It
just-
has to exist. But like, I want, if you can answer that, then I'll hit you with the second question.
Okay. So the me time again, okay, let's go back and let's speak to high achievers specifically. All right. So high achievers, you probably live off your calendar. Then in your calendar, you have to have me time. And it is just like making a doctor appointment. You wouldn't cancel your doctor appointment. You're going to show up for yourself. And if you can't show up for yourself, like, then again, that's what that's what my breakthroughs are for. If you're not showing up for yourself, then you're probably not showing up for others well. Because we have to, I don't like to look at it anymore as the oxygen mask. I think that's so overused. So yesterday I was speaking to some HR professionals, and we talked about the power strip. If you are a power strip and you have all these other plugs plugged into you, you're gonna fry. You have to take care of yourself. Are you even in the power strip as a plug? And I think that's something so to me time it's scheduled, it's a priority, it's a boundary. And you will feel better when you have your me time to do better in work, with your family, and out with the community.
Right. Then second question is, it seems like the action or the mindset of going, oh, I got to have these 4 calls today. I'm going to schedule a lunch for myself to relax. I'm going to do my workout at 4 o'clock. I got kids activities here. I got supper here. It's easy to put like tasks on your calendar that have to be done.
Yes.
But when it comes to like scheduling time, like for your relationship, it seems like it diminishes it if you're going to schedule, oh, significant other time, I'll block off a window of 20 minutes and see what happens. Like, it seems like that's
Send a calendar and
right.
calendar invite
Calendar
ask
invite.
for them to accept it.
What are you doing at
Is
1:30
it a
in the
Zoom
morning?
call?
Right.
What's going on?
Like, how does one navigate that? Because you don't want to diminish it. You want to make it a priority, but how do you navigate the optics of that?
So again, I think I think everybody is different. For me, family dinners were really important. And so I was always, unless I truly had something else that I had to do, be away, whatever, family dinners were where we spent our time together. And we talked about our day. And so that was a priority, to make sure that I am carving out family dinner, right? And so is it on my calendar like dinner? I mean, no, because I just know we're eating dinner every night.
Never miss a meal.
When my kids were younger, I wanted to put them to bed. that was my quality time with each of them, of us, me reading them stories when they were younger, us talking about their day. Like that was super important to me. And so that was a boundary that I didn't do things in the evening because I wanted to put my kids home. Now, it doesn't mean I didn't do it every now and then, but it wasn't something where I was gone every night of the week because that was important to me. If I had to do that, then it would be my weekends are blocked off and I'm going to spend every hour with them over the weekend, right? It just you have to make it work into your schedule and how much time you want and what's important to you. As far as relationships, I mean, I look at how am I going to keep up with my friends? I'm going to call and we're going to schedule a time for us to all go out, which does end up on my calendar. And I don't feel like that's forced or you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of how it has to happen for us to get together.
I'm talking more about a significant other.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do
And
you?
we spend time like we just know here's the amount of time we have in the mornings. We're going to talk in the mornings before we both go to work. We're going to, have a quick phone call during the day. We're going to definitely have dinner in the evening together. And then who knows what we're doing between then and the time we go to bed. Like, but let's reconnect then. And it's just knowing that here's our times we're not giving up and there's a boundary around that. And we say no to other things to make sure we have time for ourselves.
I think that's important because it seems like I know just for myself, my day starts earlier and earlier and earlier. And that
Mm,
cuts into my personal time because, well, I've got calls overseas. Like I got to be in the office at 6 a.m. Where
okay.
normally I'd be hanging out doing whatever until 8. Well, now my day got shorter. Well, then
Mhm.
I got to push something else off. Well, now might get home later. Well, now I'm tired. I can't operate in that efficiency. And I still got these emails coming in. It's hard for me to shut it off, right? And just say, that's it. No more work. Click off the phone. Like, how do you
Mhm.
get people? And again, we can say we want to do it and we know it's an important value and it's important, limit. But how do we enforce that? What's our default? Do we get like shocked by our phone or something if we cross a boundary? Like, oh, I don't want to do that. Right. Like a shock collar. What do we do for that?
Never know. They might come up with that someday,
It's a matter of time. I think it's $1 million idea.
yeah, I think there at one point they invented some kind of a lock for the refrigerator, right? So the people that just would graze, you can't get to the refrigerator, it's not time yet. So
Oh,
it's
that'd
kind
make
of
it worse. Yeah, that'd make it worse.
that thing. You know, I, well, I would have a lot of questions for you, Glenn, around this
Mhm.
of, what like are you doing the 6 a.m. calls every day or is there one day a week you're doing them, right? Like if that is something that you're like, oh, my days keep getting shorter and shorter, then is this an opportunity that is truly bringing you an ROI or is it taking away from other areas, right? They're like we would just have to seriously talk it out for me to go, well, don't take any more 6 a.m. overseas calls
Mhm.
because it may not be an option for you, right? But then how can we move some other things around? And what has to come if this is added to your plate, what has to come off your plate? I will never forget. So I used to be in education, and every year they would give us new things, new things, new things. We got another new binder, blah, blah, blah. When are you taking away the other binders? Like, when are you taking stuff away? So, what has to be delegated? What has to be dumped? In order for you now to do these new 6 a.m. overseas calls, right? And I think we have to remember the 4 Ds: do, delay, delegate, and dump so that we can work in the amount of time that we have and keep our priorities and our values in line with what we want to do.
It sounds like the most important thing we can say is no,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
boundary, and just
yeah,
say that's not happening in this time frame,
correct.
no matter
Correct.
what. I mean,
And
on
let me tell
occasion,
you, I mean, and I'll be straight up honest, like this, I think we said it, this did interfere with the time that I work out on Thursdays. I work out at all different times, but on Thursdays, this interfered. And I thought about it and I really weighed my pros and cons. Of
aw,
is there another, here's how many workouts I want a week. Can I move a different day to get this in? Which I can. So it worked out well. But I thought about it and I thought about what's the give and take of this and is this important enough for me to say yes or should I just say no?
it's funny. It seems like it's really easy to say no to the people who are closest to you, but it's easier to say yes to all the other people because you kind of want to be like, oh, I can check it off the list. I get that done. I'm the hero. And it's just weird how again, we see it all day long with
Yep.
everybody that's an entrepreneur. Like
Yep.
they will literally push everything else down the line to go do this other thing because it's just that's an
Yes.
easy one I can check off the list.
Yes.
And
And
that's
and
just
and I think that sometimes, like when I talk about that I align values with people, like sometimes that's what happens in, especially for entrepreneurs, in business, their family is not there anywhere. It has to be. You know what I mean? That has to be in there somewhere because if not, you're not spending enough time with your significant other, your family, whatever. You might end up with divorced, and that's going to cost you a whole lot more than Julie. I'll go back to you. If not seeing your family or saying yes to all the other things besides yourself, because let me tell you something, there was a time where my husband probably wanted to kick me to the curb because I was so overwhelmed and stressed and whatever. He's probably like, I could probably find somebody else who's a whole lot calmer than you. And what that is going to cost me way more than whatever opportunity I'm looking for over there. And so it's really getting deep about that and thinking about that on every decision. If I say yes, what or who am I saying no to? And that's
that's
like you
powerful.
got to pause for a second and think about that on every decision.
How does
I just assume the yes is going to all work out and I'm going to say yes to it all, right?
Yep. Yes, high achiever.
we'll play your little game? So one of the I think one of the things is so let's say somebody gets your book. It could be a client, just somebody randomly. I read your book and go, okay, I lay it all out. I spend, what is it going to take somebody? An hour to make up their lists and their priorities and do all the things. How long does that usually take somebody if they read your book?
Oh, I would recommend. I mean, yes,
Just guessing, yeah.
if you read the whole book and then wanted to really look at everything, I mean, I think it's going to take 2 to 3 hours. This is strategic
Okay.
planning for your life,
So you got to
right? And
block off a Saturday
you got to
morning.
block off some time to really get strategic. Just like as entrepreneurs, we have a very strategic business plan, right? Where do we want to be in a year, 5 years? Thinking about that with your life. And so it's going to take a little bit, it's going to take a half day or so.
All right. So now we do that. We lay it all out, and then we are like anybody else. We go out there and we take our first step, and we get smacked right in the face with the 2x4. Right, the rake hits us. Who is you as a coach? Are you
Mhm.
the person that helps hold that person accountable if they can't hold themselves accountable? How does one say get back on track, get in your lane? Like what do you recommend for somebody to? What's the
She puts the shock collar on you.
That's there you go. I mean, what do you recommend people to do? Is it a significant other? Is it a business partner? Is it a staff person? Is it a coach? How do they say, like, look, you're way out of whack here. Get it back in line.
So, and I think that depends how difficult this is, right? And if this is like, oh man, this is really difficult, like this is really different and it is good. I know it's going to require some effort from me. I think you probably do need a coach. Okay. I think all entrepreneurs, business owners personally need some type of a coach to help them move forward. And I think, when I think about trainers, I think of personal trainers in a couple ways. One, they are accountability. Like you're going to show up, you're paying for it, you're going to do it. And two, sometimes it's because I just don't know, like I know the basic moves, but I'm ready to up level and I need a trainer to help me be able to up level because I don't know all the different ways to do a deadlift and you know what I mean, like that. And I think coaches do the same thing. So they are that accountability person that really offers support. They're going to meet you where they are. If you have a good coach, they're going to have some compassion, but at the same time, they're also going to give you some tough love and some reality of helping you understand why you do it like this. Like, what's the purpose of you doing it like this? Because it's not working. So we got to figure out the purpose that it's driving for you. For example, uh, I had a client yesterday, and really, when she realized her purpose, she's like, "Oh my God, that's awful! Like the reason I'm doing this is all self-righteous." But she didn't realize that until coaches will ask you questions that dig deeper. And so that's the important to me of having a coach. I think some people will be able to do it themselves, and other people need a little bit more support. And I think that's great. Like,
Kelly, you're going to have to come stay here for 3 months to get me on
I,
track. I
I,
hate to break it
I was
to
going
you.
to say, what are you doing at midnight 3 days a week?
I guess I'm going to be coaching Julie at midnight
Yes,
3 days a
yes.
week.
I like the 4 a.m. spot actually.
Yeah.
We're up anyway, right?
I have a boundary, Julie. That boundary is I don't coach at 4 a.m. Would have to be a different time. But you know what I'm saying? Like that. But I think that we have to stop and realize I need more support right now. Like I can't keep running at this level. I need some more support, whether that be to get me back to, harmony, whether that be to help me up level so I can do more things better, right? Sometimes it's not doing more, sometimes it's just doing better. Like it just depends. Everybody's different.
Um, Say somebody reads the book and they this is great, they list it down, and the first day they're like, this sucks, I can't do it. Like
Yeah.
I'm failed. If they engage you as a coach, is that a daily, weekly? What does that look like, and for how long? Is it like a standard like bell curve? Like, oh, it's going to be
She moves in with you.
right.
She follows you
How
around.
long does that take
I
for
follow you around.
Julie, say no.
because it seems like there's a thing of identifying the things first, which is probably one of the hardest things for
Yeah.
people to self look back and figure that
Yeah.
out. And then
Yes.
what is the plan? And then are we following the plan? It seems like that's going to take, I don't know how long that is. Is that a
Yeah.
month,
Yeah.
2 months?
So typically when I have a client, and my clients are business owners, they are executive leaders, and usually it's at least 6 months. Okay, 6 months. I also have year
You're
packages.
moving in with me for 6 months.
Is that weekly or is that twice a
A
week?
lot.
So usually I do twice a month because I understand that my people are busy. They are busy professionals. And so we need to talk about, we need to get to the bottom of things. We need to figure out what are your action steps? And then you need a little bit of time to do them and see where you're rubbing up against
Unless
them.
you're a high achiever, I'll get those done tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And then you get it done tomorrow, and then we see what happens the other 13 days and see what else comes up. There's always something that comes up next. If you get it done and you're like, check, have it done, already did it, whatever, like I am solid in this, something else always comes up. I have never had a client, even when I work with someone for a year, that has been like, I have nothing to talk about this time because we're always growing and evolving and we're always scaling, whether it be ourselves personally or whether it be our business. There's always something to address. I have a current client right now. She started with a breakthrough. We work every other week together. Then I went in and we realized that her team, there were some communication issues going on. So then I went in and helped do strategic planning at her retreat for her leaders. Then I went in and now I'm coaching her leaders because she doesn't have time anymore to do that. So now I'm coaching them and they are trickling down into the staff below them. We did a DISC assessment. We did a driving forces assessment to get everyone on the same page. That's just in one small business right there of all the things that I'm doing to help her directly because it all goes up to her.
She totally did the D of delegate. She got that totally out of her bucket. That's
Yes,
fantastic.
exactly. And trust me, as that business owner, she's like, I know I can do things faster. You know what I mean? Like, I know I can do it faster. I can get it done. Right. But when you become a leader, leaders are delegating. They have different things on their plate more. They need to be doing strategic thinking, strategic planning, not doing all the do.
So the main question is, you have any bandwidth over there?
Yes.
Coaching? Okay, good. I mean, I might be in on that too. And again, it's funny too. You talk about entrepreneurs. Um, it's such a lonely place. They have nobody to talk to.
Yes.
You can't talk to a
Yes.
spouse. You can't talk to your kids. Can't talk to your friends. Nobody has any idea. Can't talk to your competitors. So when
They
you
just
find
think you're crazy.
right, they know you're crazy, right? But
Yeah.
they can't relate at any level. So when you do find somebody, which is again, as my career, as a business advisor, I get a lot of. I'm more of a therapist than anything. But I would imagine as a coach, you're getting it in a whole different way. It's almost like you almost are a therapist. Like you're going to hear all kinds of stuff, and they're probably going to open up a little bit more and talk about things they didn't know they needed to talk about, which is kind of cool when you think about it.
Yes. Yes. And there's two things. One, one of my clients yesterday actually said this. She goes, you are sometimes the only person I have to talk to about this. And I'm like, yes, you know what I mean? Because you can't go to your employees, your other leaders that of things you're as the owner are trying to do. And two, oh, what was my second thing that you said that I wanted to address? Oh,
Was it me?
It's going to
no.
be profound. I know it's going to be profound.
I was like, at least I have awareness. That's
Yeah,
step one.
I have good stimulating questions. I know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. It went out of me right now. It might come back.
Gotcha.
All good.
Well, so I think one of the, this has been extremely helpful. And again, probably the hardest thing for our listeners to is to look in the mirror on this one and go, oh my God, which one am I? And do I not only identify it and then go, shoot, now what do I do? And
Yeah.
then take
Yeah.
the action steps. So to get your book and all that, do you have a plug on how do we do that?
On
I
Amazon.
do. And I figured out what I was going to
Oh, go
say.
ahead. Go
So
ahead.
let me say that real quick. One of the questions that I ask, so every before a coaching session, I have my clients fill out like 5 simple questions just so I know what we're going to, work on, kind of where we're coming from. And one of the questions that I ask is, what are you not willing to bring up?
Ooh,
Because that is usually the thing that needs to be addressed. It doesn't mean we don't always start with it, but that's really the thing. Like, what are you not willing to bring up? And I love my clients because they're honest. They're like, this, I'm not willing to bring up this. And they tell me, and that's where the deep work, that's where the transformation can truly start happening. If it's always the surface level little things, I mean, that's fine. And that's going to get someone somewhere, but it's that part. Like, what are you really not willing to bring up? You know what I mean? And sometimes for business owners, it's like, I want to quit. Like, I want to sell my business tomorrow, right? And that's the initial. And then we talk it through, and then it's all, haven't
on the
had any,
ledge.
I think I
haven't
say
had
some of those
any,
things daily. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I haven't had anybody sell their business yet, but you know what I mean? But that's like the, God, I'm really not willing to say that, but that's how I'm feeling right now. So anyway, that it did come back to me. And when
That's
things come
huge.
back in my menopause brain, when things come back to me, I get really excited.
As long as it's showing up still, that's the key, right?
Yeah.
Remember,
Okay. So you had asked me, how can people
get the book.
Good job.
get the book? Yes. So the book is on Amazon. It is also on my website. And it's Kelly with an I, KelliRisse.com. The book is on Amazon as well. You can get it there. I am going to do I don't have an audio version yet, but I am going to do an audio version that will be, it's soon at some point. I don't have a date. You know what? That's the other thing.
Is
Always
that
give yourself a deadline.
is that David Attenborough gonna narrate it?
Yes. Where should I go to do this? I need to be thinking
I'm
about that.
telling you, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also have on my website, I do have a free takeaway of 5 strategies to help stop burnout. Like that's on there as well. So there's some good stuff on my
We'll
website.
link everything in the show notes too for everybody.
Excellent.
So
I
Excellent.
got
Thank you.
one other question, and this is funny because it's probably going to happen. It's going to happen that we're probably going to engage you. Do you do it like, can you do the same people that are, doing the business? Can you do it at the same time? Or are you like, no, I got to do one and somebody else has got to do the other?
she does a risk assessment for who's
Yeah.
worse,
Probably.
and then she
Yes.
starts there.
Start from the bottom.
No, that is truly up to the people. If you're like, yep, I am willing to talk about it all, be open about it all, like I feel like it's okay if all of these things are said together, then together it is. And I do group coaching, so partner coaching, yep. And it works. It works.
You send the invite, we accept it, kind of thing.
Yes.
Blocking the calendar.
We're waiting for that invite. So if you don't mind, we'd love to have that.
Speak for
You
yourself.
know you want to do it. Everybody wants to do it. It's perfect. Well, Kelly, I really appreciate. I'm sorry you missed your workout today. I hope you get to make it up, but we
I
really
will.
appreciate you being on the show today. Again, I think this is incredibly helpful for people. Again, it's even if they took the time to listen to this and have a
Yes.
little self, reflection, I think that's one more step they can move toward improving themselves, which is all we're really trying to do for all our listeners is just, yeah, we're working hard, but are we really having a better life or are we just working hard?
Yes. The first step of EQ is self-awareness. And that it is literally like the biggest thing is self-awareness. And so I think that's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. This is Empowering Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm Glenn Harper.
Julie Smith.
All right.